Good evening. This is the Bedford Township Park Commission meeting for February 24th. Call to order the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So our first item is the approval of the agenda. I don't know, I had nothing else to add. I don't know if you guys had any other items or things. Otherwise, I need a motion for approval of this.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I will second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Agenda is approved. Next is the approval of the minutes from our last meeting, February 10th. I had scanned through, seen everything looked accurate. I didn't see any changes from our meeting notes. Anybody have any changes or anything? Otherwise, we need a motion for approval.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our minutes are approved. Our secretary's report?
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Treasurer's report?
Yes, there's a few things on here to take note of. Some of the usual utility bills, of course. This food out.
Years.
Yeah, hold on one second. I gotta get this out. Yeah, typical utility bills that we have right now, consumers, Stevens. Two things to take note of. One, we are paying the $10,000 initial cost for the fireworks.
Correct.
Ace Pyro LLC, which
Deposit.
tentatively scheduled for the 27th of June. On top of that, the Monroe County Health Department, they do a water test at Samaria Park quarterly just to ensure the water quality there is safe. But we paid an invoice for them back in January on the 13th, or the meeting on the 13th for $115, which is the usual cost. But this time we got an invoice for $230 because they thought we didn't pay the previous one when actually they got the check late. So from talking to the clerk's office today, saying, hey, there's a discrepancy here with this. What's the deal? They looked into it. That's what they found, was that they received the check late, and so that's why they double charged us for the last one and then this one. So they're going to send the extra $115 back to us. So I'm only going to make a friendly amendment for this charges report that we're only paying $115 for the water test at Samaria Park.
Copy.
And not $230.
I will, with no other changes, I will motion to approve the treasurer's report.
With the friendly amendment?
With that amendment to 115 instead of 230 on the Samaria water test. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aaron? Aye. Matt?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Josh?
Aye.
The treasurer's report has passed. Presentations, we don't have any today. Community Education Park Partners, I did get an update from Nancy, so I will from ComEd, so I will quickly go through this for you. She put, good evening, here's the following report on behalf of ComEd. They ran a successful daddy-daughter dance a few Saturdays ago at the high school. Even with the weather as it was that night, the dance floor was crowded with over 520 girls and their dates participating in the event. They finished up winter boys basketball series for grades 4 through 5, 6 through 8, 9 through 10, and 11-12. Tournament was held this past weekend on the 22nd at the junior high and high school teams. There were 18 teams with about 200 players that participated this year, so one of their highest years yet. Very competitive, and the tournament went well. March Madness for grades K1 and 2-3 will begin the week of this week, the week of the 25th, starts tomorrow. And will run through April. They have 180 players participating in that. Volleyball starts up in March and is already close to selling out the space that they have available. At this point, there are roughly 100 students taking part in its grades 3 through 5 and 6 through 8 leagues. Work is beginning on their end for the spring-summer programs, including summer parks, Safety Town, as well as the outdoor leagues in soccer, softball, and t-ball. They are looking at adding basketball clinics as requested by parents. And they're starting to get calls about softball and baseball. This is a reminder for 3B and the other travel teams that they need to check in with community ed for the use of any of the diamonds at Indian Creek, whether it's for practices or scrimmages or anything of that nature. Please check in with ComEd before going and using, because there are scheduled events throughout the park with their leagues. They're always open to adding programs and opportunities for both kids and adults. Please let them know if you have any suggestions or concerns. Next month, they will submit their request for annual funding to us, the park board, with a funding help request for programming costs of running the youth rec leagues and the summer parks program. Thank you for your continued support and assistance with the community education programs. Sincerely, Director Nancy Crandall. That is the only update from community partners. I haven't heard anything from 3B or them. I know seasons are approaching quick, so I'm sure we'll be getting updates. Comments from the public? There are currently none. So that'll lead us into our old and new business. Al, you're here with an update for us on maintenance plans, outlook, so forth. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. A couple of things. Bob Miller, myself, and Pat, we had a meeting to go over the parks. And with your blessing, we're going to take a little different approach. We're going to attack each park individually and not spread everything out, a little bit here, a little bit. So we're going to start with Carr Park. Is to give you an update there, is that we do have $7,000 that the Lions Den will give us, okay? I've been talking to Mr. Anger about what we should do about the pavilion. And, do we do something new now that we have $7,000? Matt and I will be taking a look at things a little bit closer in terms of what we can do. I know he was telling me there's some prefab buildings, that we could look at. We got to take a look at the concrete. The thing that I will always stress, anything that we do that is a structure, we still have to run it by Mannequin Smith, what we do, just for the safety of the public. So that's something that we need to attack real hard and get that done. And the reason why I say that is we're coming in the spring and people start renting out those pavilions. And that particular pavilion, if you look at it, I do believe there's some electrical issues after looking at the pictures. It's just not a very good pavilion. So,
It's aged.
Yeah, it's aged. It's been there forever. So that's something that we're going to be doing right away. The drinking fountains are going out for bid tomorrow. We've met with our plumbing inspector, met with Pat, met with the building inspector. We know what we got to do. So that's going out tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit more than we anticipated because of the sewer lines and that kind of stuff. But once again, we've got to do what the code states. Because if we don't, we'll be in trouble. So that's happening. Pickleball courts. Mr. Anger and I had a discussion with the engineer today, and we should have those by the end of the week so that we can get it out for bid. The money is still there for us to spend on the pickleball courts. So that's going to happen. Do you have a question?
Nope.
Oh.
Just say, okay. I'm making notes.
Okay. Pat is going to get a quote to extend that black fencing so we can enclose that in a little bit because of the way it is. It's kind of strange. It should have encompassed more to help keep kids in just in case they start running towards the street. So that's going to happen. So we're looking at that. Pat is looking at getting a quote on new picnic tables and seeing if we can save some of the other picnic tables. So, but we're going to be looking at things that are durable, so you guys don't have to worry about them over the next several years. So that's happening. We'll schedule when the weather's right in the spring, power wash playground equipment. And so those things that we're looking to attack. Let's get them all done at one time, and then we'll move over to White Park. We'll get White Park squared away, and then we'll move over to Parmalee. Then we'll move back over, And I think once we get that going, it's going to be a little easier to maintain instead of we got a crisis over here. That's got to be done today, or this, So I think it's going to work. We whatever we do, we're going to come to this board. We'll let you know what we're spending the money on, so you guys will all know, and what the bids are and that kind of thing, and what your options are. But I think in terms of taking a look at the budgets, I think we'll look a little harder, but we might be able to pull off the pavilion at Carr. And the reason why I would like to try and get that done, because if we had a new pavilion and you got the new pickleball courts and a new drinking fountain. That's like having a new park. And we're going to fix the gazebo, get that looking good too.
Yep. And the hall has a new roof on it within the past year.
Yeah, so
The parking lot was resurfaced. The only other item that was even in our wish list or thinking of, but it was more of a long-term, is with the paving and everything going on here.
right,
Potentially looking at that south lot instead of dealing with stone and how
Right.
pitted out it is and bad.
right.
Potentially looking at paving that.
Yeah, so we could take a look at it. So we'll get these other things done, and then if we got some money or whatever, we can. I'm trying to time this so that we're using the funds that we have allocated to us right now.
Yep.
Because we got a new budget year coming up, right?
Exactly.
So that's, we want to get this stuff done. And I think Carr Park, it's also going to be an economic boom a little bit to that downtown development or downtown Temperance, because people do come to play pickleball, and you won't believe how many people go to that Sunoco station, and they'll be stopping there. We got restaurants on Lewis Avenue.
Everything.
We got Food Town, so I'm pretty excited about it. So, any questions?
Yes, there is that opportunity for that DNR grant as well. Deadline to sign up for that is April 1st, so I want to really work together with Hal as well on what we want to do for that grant, because that's money I don't want to pass up.
Right, and I had talked with Corey already, and basically, based on projects we have going on and what we're looking at with the deadline, absolutely applying for it in conjunction as an upgrade to the courts is the most ideal. It would maximize it, the potential to it, because that project is going to be above that amount.
Right.
We already know we're allocated and doing that project, and we would be covering the 50% requirement for the total.
25%.
Or 20, either
Yeah, we
way,
would have it
we're
covered.
covering that amount, so it's going to hit all the criteria to qualify, as well as potentially maxing it out depending on what they award. So I'll email Corey again and get that, make sure we are getting that application in. The best we can do is apply.
Yeah, it's
See if
not
we
going to
get-
hurt. The last time we applied for the DNR grant, we scored high. We
We were just off of,
Yeah, so we scored really high, and Mylan got it, we didn't. But we felt pretty good about the work that we put into it. So who knows? You just never know what the grant person who's receiving the information, how they're totally scoring it, how they're feeling, what they think your community might need as opposed to what you're applying for. There's a lot of factors that go into play.
absolutely.
But, we need to apply for it. I always say, okay, say they only give you 10,000. Well, that's 10,000 more you had that you didn't have yesterday.
That now covers a pavilion.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back, it's just like the building we have going in the back. If you don't use that money, it's gone, and somebody else is going to use it. They don't care because the government doesn't want it back. They want it spent. So,
Yeah, if you see Corey before myself, I know, which you probably will. Yeah, that grant opportunity, that DNR one that he had sent us out, definitely that's where I think our best opportunity is with it currently, because we know it's a project that we are going forward with. The money's already allocated there, so
Exactly.
if we can get a portion of it, get awarded and have a portion of it covered, we can look to allocate that money to pavilions or these other
right.
projects down the list that we're looking to get in bids now. So.
Exactly. So I think when we see in the next couple of years our parks, we're going to see a lot of improvements.
That's the goal.
What's going on? So
Is this kind of, in your mind, like an annual focus, park by park, quarterly, annual, monthly?
I would like personally, I would like to do an annual. I mean, this first go around, we want to hit every park.
June 30th.
This seems to me like an annual approach. In the sense, like, you still have, obviously, the regular maintenance
Right.
of trash cans and of grass.
Right.
Grass cutting will be here before we know it.
Right.
But, like, embracing Carr Park this year with this kind of to-do list, and then White Park.
Yeah, like our next, like we look at our budget, right? So
Right.
it might be this year, we also hit White Park. You know what I mean? And then next year, okay, we're at Parma Lee. We'll just see how the budget shakes out, or if we get the grant. Personally, if we can really budget, I'd like to get a lot of stuff done this year, if possible.
Technically,
Yeah,
We're speaking this year, we're
fiscal
speaking
years.
to June 30th.
right.
July 1st starts
Sure.
the whole new budget, to where the second half of
Thinking
summer
that
can be.
maintenance after June 30th, thinking maintenance is going to be like endeavoring.
They're not going to be the ones building pickleball courts and building
Right. Well,
pavilions and.
But Aaron, yeah, you're kind of right. If now next year, let's say if we can get all this done this year, and like, oh, okay, permanently doesn't need as much because maybe we got the disc golf course looking really good and some other things. Well, then when we come around to that budget time, we say, okay, this is what we didn't get done in permanently, boom, and then down the road, possibly in year 3, all we're doing is let's go around and check. You know what I mean? Hey, do we need this or do we need that? And I think it'll be an easier approach in terms of it. So.
As goes your list you gave us with car park, to me it seems like 3 to 6 months. Not counting pickleball. Pickleball's its own.
Right, which.
Yeah,
All the other stuff, the picnic tables, the fencing, whatever, like that seems like it's about a 3 to 6 month.
It could be like 3 months. It could be 9 days. By the time we get the
I
bids.
guess whatever. I don't want
Yeah.
to hold you to it, but
Yeah.
not going. This isn't like 1 month and next month White Park.
Right. No, exactly.
No
Too
way.
fast.
No, I'm glad you brought that up.
That'd be impressive.
I know.
Yeah, it would. Hey, if we can push and do it,
I
we'll
don't even
do
think we
it.
should try. I think car park
No.
for this season is a perfect approach.
Yeah, and I
We've
think
already
if we
done,
can-
as the past board, too. So much
yeah.
was getting accomplished there. And like you said, the pickleball court's already planned it. Like we might as well do a wrap up of it.
Right.
And move into.
Yeah, we get that gazebo looking great. It's a heavily used
get a
park.
It's all
So I think, and then hopefully this Christmas we can light that park up, which I think will be pretty neat for Christmas.
Yeah.
So, so that's kind of the plan, Aaron.
The other 6 parks, the other 5 parks, just focus on regular maintenance.
Exactly. We'll cut the grass. There's things we can do, but I want to get car park looking really good, and then let's move on to the next one.
Great.
Yeah, so.
And anything obviously outside of it, like Monarch Moms, where we want to build those 10 by 10s butterfly zone at each one. Like that's their volunteer group and where do we want it laid out and done, and so be it. Like those are outside things that are still going to be
And
accomplished.
no maintenance department, human resources would be spent in
No.
that endeavor.
Correct.
No, they
Really
would.
all about
Volunteers
human
and human resource.
Right.
of maintenance department, and
Exactly.
the maintenance department is not
Correct.
infinite, and once it starts warming up, they're really limited, obviously, and so.
And realistically, I mean, even from his list, pavilion, drinking fountains, pickleball courts, none of those are going to be done by our maintenance. It's going to be done by a plumbing company.
Right.
It's going to be done by Manick and Smith with the pickleball courts of whoever bids it and wins and takes care of that. The pavilion, same scenario as pickleball courts. Quote to enclose the fencing. They're going to get quotes. If it looks good and it's green light,
Right.
they're going to put up fencing.
Right.
The last 30 total feet of it. And then new picnic table. If we get new ones in, okay, they build them and put them out there.
Yep.
Take the old ones away.
Exactly.
It's not a drastic change to like you said, once the season kicks off and we're into mowing.
Get it going.
There we go.
And they redid the baseball field
Right.
too. So we got a lot of good things going on there.
Great, yeah.
Yep. Any other questions? Mr. Anger, I'll need your help since you volunteered.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I'd be offended if you didn't have me.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, keep us posted.
Okay.
I like the plans. I like everything
Good.
so far in the grand scheme of it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you, Al. Our next item is the cleaning service bid, finalizing that to get sent out for public bid. This is for our cleaning service for the 2 rental halls at Carr and Samaria Park. I had looked through it. I know me and you discussed obviously those back pages. I don't know, whatever from the last one, the final one you had sent out, any other final
I didn't
changes
change.
or if you
I just
wanna
sent
take
this.
over here?
Yeah, so I just the car reservation form is what we have on the site now. I just copied it onto the form so I could give it to the people who would be bidding to clean, so they could see what is expected
Rental
already.
entails.
Right. So, did you do the highlighting thing?
No.
Oh, I think I think Angie did that for me. So I had her kind of look at this because I'm not an English major by any means. So, should you may just read it, what I have here, or do you guys all see it
I
already?
mean, it'll go out to public bid. I've seen it. I just don't know from the last we had seen that final one you sent out. Or were there any other major?
Just the highlighted stuff is what it's
Changes.
just basically wording.
More, it's not actual
Adding or
what
taking.
they're doing and
Right.
everything looked correct as to what we expect of
Right.
cleaning, what's supposed to be done with each service. Scheduling wise, you had that in there, it's 8 to 8, so if there's a Saturday, Sunday booking, it needs to be done overnight.
Right.
That is expected. Obviously, we'll get them on the booking site once somebody is selected, so they are caught up with all the rentals and scheduling. And outside of that, let's get it out to public bid. And
So if you guys are good with it,
somebody submit on
I'll
it.
just tweak it the way,
I will motion to approve your.
Can I just add, did we
Yep.
ever get in touch with the ones doing it currently? Did they have any feedback? Did we hear anything at all? Did anyone contact them? Or
From the last
angry?
I had heard is it wasn't like they don't have the proper things to be able to mop to do some area, and that's why, and they thought we were providing it.
Right, I remember that.
They-
Since our last meeting, has anyone
Once this goes out to public bid, I will contact her and let her know, hey, here's exactly the details. This is what we're moving with forward. If you want to continue, absolutely apply to it. Correct your pricing if that's an issue. Do what you need to do, bid on it, and we'll go from there. She's still currently doing the service as far as we understand
Nobody's heard any complaints.
No.
Well, because we haven't had any invoices from them either still.
Yep.
They're still not showing up to clean.
They're always delayed with their invoices, and
They have
so this is more
which I
of just
did-
the paperwork end and getting it out to public bid. And
Yeah.
hey, if
That's good. So you're going to reach out, at least let them know
Yep.
they can reapply. That's
Yep. We just need to get this out to
Good, okay.
public status. So again, if you guys know anybody in this service industry and that would be interested, we'll get an exact date of when this probably I would guess within the next week going out. Once it's active, Matt can let us know and let those people know. Go on Bedford site and apply. I don't know if maybe the township can make a post of the bid once it's out there to send it out. So
If we
it's
approve,
open.
if we approve this tonight, you guys can put out for bid, put on the website tomorrow morning, correct?
If Matt's got the exact verbiage and
Yeah.
So you were motioning what to do this?
with
or here,
Matt's,
what-
with this
one other thing,
verbiage
too,
detailed.
I want to add as well, because I was looking through it. As far as the garbage situation goes, our dumpsters are supposed to stay locked just because we don't want illegal dumping in that.
Correct.
So whoever the cleaning person is, if they can get a key for the dumpster,
The current service has a key.
they have a key for the
Haul key and
dumpster.
the dumpster key, yep.
Okay, good. Just to make sure they can haul the bags there and then lock it afterwards.
Yep.
So,
I emptied the trash out of car park today.
all right.
They're still not, whoever she's sending to.
I would also like to
isn't
get,
taking that, or, this is what we've run into, and this is why we're doing a public bid of the clean service.
Good. So Andrew's motioning.
I'm motioning to approve this with Matt's verbiage to finalize it, and let's get it out to public bid.
Excuse me, Aaron, is your mic on?
Yeah. Flip it upwards. Okay, Andrew motions. Anybody seconding?
I'll get a second.
All in favor of getting the cleaning service out to public bid?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. I'll let you wrap it up and let us, if you can, at least let me know
Yeah.
that it's out to public so we can get it out there and spread it.
I don't know how fast it is to put it on the website for the bid of it. Okay. I can have it this week.
Perfect. Next item is obviously we did as part of the treasurer's report, the approval of the deposit payment to the firework company. Just running it by you guys since you weren't here when the dates and all of that. Generally, the Bedford show, depending on how the holiday falls, is usually the weekend before the actual 4th of July weekend. So the dates we currently have and that I want to be able to just send to finalize with Ace Pyro is the 4th of July falling on Friday the 4th. So, because most people are out of town and travel, and that's the reasoning behind most of the townships in the area that do fireworks are the same way. The Bedford Township Fireworks Show would be on Friday the 27th with a rain date of the 28th. If it's an entire weekend rain out, as it was like 4 years back for us, we'll be able to talk with Ace Pyro and revisit dates later in the year then and can coordinate. I know that year, 4 years ago, we coordinated it and did it in unison with the first home football game in September and kind of did like a post-game fireworks show, like if there's an entire rain out. But just making sure everybody's good with that date and finalizing it so I can confirm that with Ace. Any objections?
You want a motion for that, or?
I mean, that's what we're currently set at. I was just bringing it to attention. So if nobody's objecting, it sounds good.
I'll make a motion to approve the fireworks deposit payment.
We already did in the treasurer's.
Well, yeah, but to confirm the date, we're going to go Friday.
That's already the date. I'm just.
Just
Is
reading
there
off
any
them.
objection to it being the 27th?
Make a motion if you want to change it, it sounds like.
Okay. Bingo.
So,
Yep.
I'm just
We're not changing it.
motion what's on there right now. So yeah.
no, I think it's good. We'll just keep with it.
Okay. Moving on then, parks update, Ansted Park. Anybody hear any calls, any notes on Ansted?
Nothing unanswered for me.
I'm sure it's probably muddy and wet right now. It's welcome to
Everything is muddy and wet right
the
now.
season. Samaria Park, we were looking at potential trail cleanup. Again, I noted on there to have that. We'll have that discussion with maintenance and see if that's a spring project or when we get into the actual, when it's not soggy season and
Right.
wet, if that's something they can attack. I know with this new kind of plan, park to park, that may not be an option, but something we can bring up with maintenance, getting a trail cleared out and so forth, or if we need to get bids to do that as third party or whatever the case may be. Any other updates for Samaria?
I was just going to ask Al if we could. I don't think we've talked about that yet or not, but is that something that we can look into doing with Pat and his team?
Yeah, we can see, is there a lot of cleanup, or is it sticks? Is it?
It used to be an actual like walking path trail through all of
Okay.
the woods back there. I know Chris, a year or so back, we had someone out that actually cut back and cleaned all that close to the baseball diamond, 10, 15, almost 20 feet back, to open all that up. Leading back in there, you can see it on maps too. There's an old trail that I haven't walked it in years. I don't know the condition of if it's heavy enough to where we'd need like a brush hog.
Hog or something?
or
I can have
if
Pat
it-
take a look at it. I mean, we've rented a brush hog before.
Right. If it's something as simple as that,
And we got a chipper, you know what I mean? So it isn't like, we just have to walk it and see what.
I don't
What
know
would
the
be
condition
needed?
currently. That's where I.
And the other thing too is I've never seen like an actual map, so I don't know what the actual path of it is. But from knowing that there's a trail there, I want that trail to be opened up and let the public use it that want to use it.
Right.
Sure.
There's a potential another trail at a park.
Yeah.
Another trail that we have available at another park.
Naturally we want to do it when it's dry out.
Right. That's what I said. When it's not soggy season and pure mud.
Josh, just send an email to me and I can ask Pat.
All right, we can
Worst
get,
case,
we
let's
get that
take a look at
squared
it.
up.
White Park. I don't have any updates on White. I'm sure the trail's soggy. Parmalee.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Cars. Obviously, a lot of
stuff, but
discussion
yeah,
in
I
the
think we already
upcoming,
discussed
but
it all, yeah.
anything
Nothing
else
additional.
with car. And Wheeler.
Oh,
go ahead.
We talked about sign wish list, and
Yep.
I don't see it on here, but I was thinking maybe we should add signs to, like, if we decide to do like a rental for each of the items, so that's
Yep.
because they're pretty faded.
I agree that, and I saw your list and I did review it. For now, right now, I just want to focus on like any signs that are currently up that are just like basically completely gone or
Right.
washed away or eroded or non-legible anymore. New signs, I agree, especially if we look at new pavilions and so forth,
Right.
because I know white parks are actually numbered and
Yes.
labeled. I would like to do the same thing with
Okay.
all
And
of them.
since our pavilion is
And same
potentially-
thing, the courts, the pickleball courts,
Right.
but obviously until that's done, but absolutely keep that ready to go and part of it. I would like to get them, numbered, signed, so we
Yeah.
know.
Seems
court
like it'd be better to do
numbers.
a-
Yep, just to keep it organized, especially if we look at putting those on the rental system. If we have 6 courts and you can numbers 1 through 6, you do like 1-hour rentals. If that's something, obviously, once we get closer to approaching an actual construction, we'll discuss. And if that's the case, we would definitely need them numbered and everything. Anything else, cars?
well, the flooding, but that's everywhere. So
Everywhere. Wheeler Preserve, same, no update. As we get into spring, I'm sure we'll see the trail better and any cleanup or anything we might need to do there. Outside of that, speaking of, did anybody at their parks notice any dilapidated signs or anything immediate that needs replaced, or just kind of like, I'm talking about like handicap parking signs or anything of that nature
I
that,
forgot to look.
Fair enough.
Look again.
If you catch them,
Yeah, I knew.
shoot an email out,
Right.
like to tag us or.
Are your signs good?
Yep. Whites, as far as I saw for now, I'll do another look in the spring after the baseball season kicks off and go.
I did have an idea for the signs as far as maybe how to actually rent them, because I wrote down the exact step-by-step
I
instructions.
saw that, and I
so
like that too. And if we
do new soons, maybe.
Yep, I like that idea. The only hesitation I have on that, depending on the sign, so if we put a ton into signs, and then all of a sudden 2 years down the road, like it's not the LEO system, it's not like that way, it's not that process.
Right.
Then we're stuck
that's
with
true.
those signs. That's the only kind of hesitation I have to put in, like, hey, if you want to rent this, here's your step-by-step and click and go through, because if it changes, signs are useless.
We could just say go to bedfordmichigan.org.
Right. Unless the township page is ever changing drastically, like as long as that's it, yeah, absolutely, that would
We'd probably
be a
keep the same
simple
domain
step.
name, so.
Yep. For Parmalee too, I'll get in touch with Black Swamp Discs. I know they were over the winter designing that course map. I'll see where they're at with that. I know obviously it's kind of been on a pause because they're not putting it in during the winter season, but I'll kind of see where they're at and get an update on that for you. Any other updates, parks that you guys noticed outside of our basic ones? Anything? Pocket parks.
Only thing with pocket parks, I was going to ask Al about it too. If talking to Pat possibly in the future with the Monarch Moms group, planting all that milkweed and butterfly stations, if we could just look at different pocket parks, case by case basis, if they can expand to those areas.
We can take a look at it. Some of that's going to depend a little bit too on residents. Yeah, I mean, they might share the same view of saving the monarch as others. Yeah, know what I mean? So
Right.
now, one park that would probably be good for them, Josh, might be Centennial,
Okay.
because that's kind of like wooded, it's bigger. And the other one would be maybe Tanglewood, because you got a little,
Yeah, the four.
What about,
Four lots and two
yeah, there's
lots
like 4
together.
lots in there.
I was going to ask, what about Middlebury?
Where?
Middlebury Drive?
I don't know if I would go into Colonial in there. There is that one we do cut. So I mean, I guess it would have to be looked at, like, where do you put it? Is it like in a corner? You know what I mean? So
What about the drainage ditch? I think it's called Bragdon Ditch, all along Hooverdale, and then it goes back over behind Hickory Ridge and that.
I wouldn't put anything
Clearview.
by drainage ditch. I wouldn't do anything by drainage
They're
at
going to
all.
end up tearing it up.
Yeah, and just like in Old Colonia, there's a lady. There is like a vacant lot there, but we have to be careful because some people are allergic to certain things, and that park we keep cut because she calls us like every year in terms her kid having issues, so we make sure that's cut. So it would just have to be a case by case basis and
Okay.
take a look and say, hey, can we put it in a corner? Can we stick it over here?
We basically told them for the moment, outside of at the major parks, we're kind of planning like the 10 by 10 plots to do like a garden
Right.
with a sign of, hey, here's this info,
Yeah.
doing that, and we'll pick a spot at White, we'll pick a spot at Carr, we'll pick a
Yeah,
spot.
I think that would be,
Outside of that, I told them planning wise and going, I mean, if somebody's
Right.
throwing the seat, well, who's going to,
right.
I'm not there to police it. Your best bet's to keep it at Anstead,
I-
or the preserves.
That's what I would do starting out, see how
That's
it goes.
what I told them.
You know, and especially like at Anstead and Wheeler, you got 2 great parks right there to start it out at, see how it goes, and then you can kind of go from there. Yep.
Neighborhoods I would avoid for the time being until we've got more details. That's all I have for parks. Comments from the public, we do not have any. Commissioners' comments, Aaron?
Just one thing I've thought of that I think probably should be reviewed maybe next year, because I know nobody wants to hear it in our group because it'll just make it harder for us.
Have
But
at it.
Indian Creek, we jettisoned Indian Creek as the last board because of different political what have yous with the school district. But like I can tell just from answering the phone line that the community doesn't know the difference. You know, like the most frequent calls that we get, other than about shelters at Sumerian Carr, are about Indian Creek, even though it's not our park and we don't have anything to do with it.
The school board.
Yeah, right, the school board and everything, but like the community doesn't know the difference. It's a park, it's in Bedford, it is going largely how we thought it would go, that they would not do an A+ job on it, the same way
just
that
had
we
the-
weren't, like, I mean,
I just had the
they're doing fine. I don't know,
over-
like, they've
I guess
maintained
what
it
you
in a
call those,
way.
not the overpasses, but the walking bridges, all redone and repoured.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't done any new construction. They're not redoing baseball diamonds or anything. ComEd has a much easier path with scheduling and going because it's through them that everything's over there.
They haven't said anything to me. I don't think they've said anything to anyone else. I just think that that's something that, with the money out there and other options, it's something that we should consider and review, that we put it back on our plate and maybe officially, purchase it or obtain it from the school somehow and do it again. Just because,
Really, the only way to go, and it wasn't a
Something
matter
I
of a
thought of.
political mishap or anything with the passport. It was that it was a three-way contract from the 70s that placed us responsible for everything for it from the township's budget, but with school board approval.
Right.
Is the easiest way to.
I see that as political.
We made it less complex and complicated and said, this is your land for the schools. They make every decision on it. You take care of it. It's yours.
I just, something I've thought of that, like, the community seems like it's
Well, I
considering it as part
mention
of
it every public meeting that Indian Creek is part. Call the school board. It's not
They might
ours.
have appetite for it. I wonder, they wanted us to buy it before, and it was like, yeah, right.
I like the idea of where it stands because right now we've got a list of 5 major items at Car Park alone. We would
already got
like
too
to
much fish
tackle
to fry.
White, then we would like to tackle.
I know.
Bartlett, then we'd like to
From
tackle
our group, that's why I said, from our perspective, it's not like we
some
actually
area,
want to
and by that point you're going to be looking at large playscape potentials. It's
You want to donate the land?
if they want to donate it to us, sure. If
Well-
the school board doesn't want it anymore and they want to
I
turn
think
it
we
over.
could review. That was all my point. It's just I think
Yeah.
reviewing the relationship could happen again now. It's been 4 or 5
And we've
years.
maintained a great. I mean, we still do the fireworks show with conjunction of the stadium.
Right.
They open up the community stadium and all the.
Yeah, there's a lot
parking
going on.
lots
That's
and
why it's
everything.
like, it
It's-
seems like a thing that could be thought of. We didn't discuss it in our cow, and I was like, oh yeah, that didn't come
Yeah.
up. That should have come up. But that's all.
I mean, major items there to do. I mean, other than redoing fields and.
I'm not even
full-
saying anything in it other than just like putting it back under our umbrella. Maybe.
I mean, we can
something
talk about
that
it every meeting.
Right, I think that's something to discuss in the future. is all.
I'll literally list it as the next Wheeler, Indian Creek if we want to just bring it up.
No, I don't want it
to.
to. I don't. It would be official or not official, and I think that there could be appetite for that. Is all. Maybe
Fair
it's
enough.
something to do with the budget in the future.
Okay,
So that's all.
Matt.
Nothing.
I don't have any additional comments. Josh.
Trade fair's coming up, so looking forward to seeing the residents at the trade fair as well.
Good call.
We do want to see your input and any concerns or ideas that you may have. We would like to hear your feedback and get to meet us as well. There's some of us that are new on the board as well, so I'd like to keep that door open for communication as well. And I also did write an article for the Township Update, which will be coming out in the Bedford Press pretty soon, so take a look at that as well. And can't wait for these pickleball courts to come in soon. So a lot of good stuff happening. And the water fountains are finally coming too, so that's also a big win.
We've had them. We just had to wait for the weather and all the code and all the upgrades.
Plumbing, engineering,
Yep.
yeah.
It turned into a much more difficult project than initially.
Bigger can of worms.
Yep, but it is getting handled this spring, which is awesome. Al, I'll give you a spot on any last info. Things come up good.
Can I ask about the trade fair? Do we have anything at all to put out, or not necessarily even hand out, but at least like Carol had stuff. I don't know if she gave it to anybody.
She got stuff the last time, those boards and everything for the 5-year plan.
I feel like there's something that said
Smith.
Bedford Park Board or Park Commission. There
Like a
was
banner?
Yeah, there's a banner somewhere in the world.
There's probably a banner somewhere, correct, Al?
Well, that's why I'm asking because
If Pat has it stored or whatever, but if you needed a banner or something, I mean, if you go to One Day Sign or you go to Wayne down at Help Printers or whatever,
Letterman.
we could probably, or Letterman, we could probably get something made up.
So as of right now, nobody has a banner that we know of. And
I don't.
I don't, I
Right, I don't.
call what, What you guys have?
I'll contact Carol, see what
You got Carol's number still? Yeah, maybe.
Carol, if you're listening, shoot me a message. Let me know.
Josh, I mean, you're unofficially in charge of the trade fair booth at this point, so
Because I
I don't know.
available for it.
If not, I'll get 3 bids on a banner, and we'll see.
No, I mean,
A banner's gonna be a couple $100.
a banner, and then like, what else was the plan? To sit there kind of with a clipboard and just sort of take notes, or like a volunteer sign up, or what's going to be on the table? And
Well, if you guys want, we could take the survey we had from a few years back. You can take it, put it on Google Forms. We maybe make a QR code for people to scan. They can open it up on their phone and fill it out from their phones on Google Forms as well.
it's a thought. Yeah.
I'm all for doing a survey still, or just be able to talk and chat.
I'll try to make up some stuff too of all the improvements we're working on for cars, just so they know people can, because people aren't watching this as much, so we can.
What projects?
Yeah,
are
like this is what we got going.
I think our own quick one-page thing that could sit on the table with a cup of pens, and if they wanted to, they could grab one and fill it out and put it in
I
the
also do
computer
want to
file.
encourage the public to come to our meetings and be involved and possibly volunteer and help out, because we want to start doing more community events. I think if we draw some people in that really have a passion or want to do something or have something that's really up in their wheelhouse, I want to draw them in so we can create something. That's something else we'll like to do at the trade fair as well.
So a sheet that has a volunteer sign-up would be advisable.
Exactly. That, or like if we want to start doing some like athletic events or something at the parks, like basketball or whatever, for sure. And then pickleball, of course.
You're gonna do it?
I will.
You'll do a survey. You'll do a clipboard, and
Yes, I need.
you'll do a bill banner. I don't know, or you're not doing a banner. Josh is doing a banner.
I'm currently not available for.
I can.
hear ya.
I can look
I
into a
just-
banner. I know. I can talk to Letterman. I also know somebody else that can possibly have something made, as well.
You're in charge.
I'll look into getting us a banner. If we don't have a banner, Al, let me know tomorrow if Pat knows anything, or if you can find out from
You're
Carol.
in charge of the trade fair display, and I will do
I'll
my
give you a
best
hand,
to sit
Josh.
there with you.
I'll give you a hand. Sounds fun.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, Al, let me know if you guys have a banner, and if not, I'll try to go out and get something.
I'll keep you posted too if I talk to Carol and get
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, appreciate
I
it.
think Carol might have stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't. Yeah.
Other than that, motion to adjourn. I will need it.
Motion for adjournment.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our meeting's adjourned. Our next meeting will be on Monday, March 10th, here at Township Hall, 7 p.m.
Right before the trade fair.